Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be dealing with the lesson called The Snake and the Mirror from our 9th standard textbook. This particular lesson is very funny. It's a very interesting story about a doctor and his experience that we are going to know. It will make us laugh definitely. With that, I think we should get started with the lesson. So the name itself says that there is going to be a snake, there is this character who is a doctor, and also there's a mirror. So you all must be now wondering what the story is going to be about, but sit back and relax. This is going to be an interesting one, very funny, and I'm sure you all are going to love this one. I'm going to start with the reading. Has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? A full-blooded cobra. All of us felt silent. The question came from the homeopath. The topic came up when we were discussing snakes. We listened attentively as the doctor continued with his tale. So the scene starts wherein a doctor is discussing about snakes and there are other people also in the room. He's asking a question like, has ever a snake coiled itself around any of your body part? A full-blooded cobra, and that too a very dangerous snake. So has anything ever happened to you? So he is asking that. It was a hot summer night about 10 o'clock. I had my meal at the restaurant and returned to my room. I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. The sound was familiar one. One could say that the Reds and I shared the same room. So he is saying that it was a hot summer night and he returned about 10 o'clock and he had his meal in the restaurant, and then when he entered there were noises of rats and other things. So he was like very familiar with this sound. That means there were rats in his room, like it was like not so maintained room, and we can make out that it was kind of a messy room wherein there were rats already. So he was not that scared, he was okay with that sound. Then I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. So the next thing that he does was to light up the kerosene lamp. The house was not electrified. It was a small rented room. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. So the doctor's conditions were not so favorable. He was not very like famous or rich doctor. He has just begun with his practice. So his earnings were also very little. So his house did not have any electricity. Then I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase along with some shirts and dhotis. I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. So he did not have much of clothes. He was very short on the clothes also. He had shirts and a little bit of and some of dhotis, and also he had only one coat that was the black in color. I took off my black coat, white shirt and not so white vest and hung them up. So the next thing he's telling us that his white coat was not that white, so that means it was kind of dirty and he was just going with the flow in his life. Then I opened the two windows in the room. It was an outer room with one wall facing the open yard, and it had a tiled roof with long supporting gables that rested on the beam over the walls. So he is now describing his house, how his house was, how his room was, and also it was a rented house. I lay down but I could not sleep. I got up and went out to the veranda for a little air. But the wind god seemed to have taken time off. So he was saying that he was not feeling well, he was not going to sleep also. So he just went out to take some fresh air, but he says that wind god was also not in his favor. That means there were no wind that was going on. I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book, the Materia Medica. So he just went back into his room and he decided to read some of his medical books. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. A small comb lay beside the mirror, and in his room there was a large mirror that was in front of him, and also there was a comb that was lying beside. So he just decided to now admire himself in the mirror, and now the things are going to be different. So one feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near one. I took a look. In those days, I was a great admirer of beauty and I believed in myself, making myself look handsome. So he is saying, like, if there's a mirror right in front of you, you tend to look more into the mirror, like you want to admire yourself. And he is saying that he was an admirer of beauty in those times. So this means that it's a story that has happened with him, and now he's sharing the same story with the others in the room. So I was unmarried and I was a doctor. I felt I had to make my presence felt. I picked up the comb and I ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. So he's saying that he was not married at that time, so he felt he should be looking beautiful, he should be very neat and clean in his appearance, because obviously he was on the lookout to get married. So again, I heard this sound from above. So if you all remember, when he entered the room, he had this sound of rats and everything, and he was not scared. But the same sound happened again, and this was his reaction. Now I took a close look at myself in the mirror. I made an important decisions. Now here he is going to make some decisions. So he said, I would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. So he's saying that the first thing, that he is going to shave daily. That means he is going to keep up with his grooming, and he is going to also grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. So he believes that he is already handsome, and to look and to enhance his beauty, he is going to do these things. I was after all a bachelor and a doctor. So he thinks that he is very suitable in this matter. He is a bachelor also, and he is also a doctor. Then I looked into the mirror and smiled. It was an attractive smile. So he is basically admiring himself, and he is looking out on his smile. He is looking at his face and everything. I would always keep that attractive smile on face. So that's the second decision, to look more handsome. I was after all a bachelor and a doctor too on top of it. So he is basically admiring himself and taking all of these decisions. Again came that noise from above. So then again something happened, like the same noise, it was kind of now bothering him. So we are going to stop here. We are going to know what this noise is about, what is going to happen next, whether something is going to happen or something trouble is coming his way. So all of that we are going to see in the next part, and you'll have to be here for the next part so that we can all know what the story is going to be about. And I'm sure y'all are going to like this one. So stay tuned, subscribe to this channel, and yeah, I'll see you all soon in the next one very soon. Bye.